Yo, 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 what's up? This your boy David Wilson, a conservative thug. Today's local designer, I'm rocking that all smiles. You know, that fuck love secure the bag edition. Everybody out here should already know who All Smiles is. If you don't, look her up. All Smiles been putting it down in the city of Newport News, for the city of Newport News and Hampton for a very, very long time. We love her. We support her like we do all local designers. If you're a local designer and you got your own clothing line or designer line and it's male and it's fly, send it my way. I wear a size medium. I wear a size medium, but you can send it my way. I definitely wear it and shout you out. Like I said, this right here is from All Smiles. You know what I mean? Fuck love. The hat is from the Marathon collection. You know, that was Nipsey Hussle clothing line. Also, yeah, I got my copy of Planners and Pioneers, which is the story of Southeast Newport News. A lot of people don't know the history of the Southeast Newport News. If you don't, you need to get it. It got part 1 and part 2. You know what I'm saying? I picked mine up yesterday when I was downtown talking with Nook and the author, and I got him to autograph both of mine. You know what I'm saying? I got him to autograph both of mine, so y'all see that. You know what I mean? It's the story of the Southeast End of Newport News. A lot of people don't know the story and the history of Newport News. And if you knew the history of Newport News, you would know a lot about why I am the way I am and about the great leaders of Newport News. But without further ado, we're going to get into today's episode of Conservative Thugs by your boy David Wilson. And today's episode, I want to talk about, well, I basically want to get down to the bottom of who's the racist. Like, who is the racist in this presidential debate? That's what everybody want to talk about. Everybody want to talk about who is the racist. Let's get to the bottom of it and find out who the racist is. I mean, that should be easy, right? I mean, after all, Donald Trump called the white supremacists in Charlotte good people and stuff like that, didn't he? Let's watch the clip.
Protesting very quietly the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. People that were very fine people on both sides. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists.
So you mean to tell me that's not what he said? Hey, bruh. So that ain't what he said. That's crazy. So he actually denounced the white supremacists. I mean, well, maybe that's just a fluke. Maybe that's just a fluke. I mean, you know, maybe it was just a mix-up. You know, the media makes mistakes sometimes, and they don't mean to. So maybe that was just a mix-up, and they just said that, you know, by accident or something like that. But wait, hold up, because we know for a fact that he didn't denounce white supremacy at the debate, right? Right? He ain't denounced the white supremacy at the debate, right? Let's watch that then. Let's watch that clip.
Willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups,
Sure.
and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these
Sure.
cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared
to do that.
Man, if Trump keep interrupting this moderator trying to denounce white supremacy, man, we're gonna throw him a black card or something, man. Cause what the? Why he keep trying to? Wow, he's such a bad person, man. He's just messed up, man. Dude messed up, man. How you gonna keep trying to interrupt the moderator? You know what I'm saying? Trying to denounce white supremacy all fast and stuff, man. Why he keep doing that, man? He just, man. Oh, man. I see why y'all don't like him, man. He just sitting up here interrupting the moderator, trying to denounce the white supremacy all fast and stuff like that, man. I mean, it ain't like he ain't already, it ain't like he, you know what I'm saying, denounced white supremacy to this same reporter, you know what I'm saying, in the past or something. You know what I'm saying? He up here interrupting the man like he told him before or something. You know what I'm saying? He gonna interrupt the man like he told him before. Like, you know what I mean? What the hell is wrong with Trump, man?
What are your views on the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists?
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David.
Wait, so you telling me he did denounce white supremacy to the same reporter before? the no, man. But anyway, but maybe that's not a good, you know what I'm saying, condemnation. Maybe he can do it better, you know what I'm saying? I like when people, you know what I'm saying, denounce white supremacy hard and fast, and that was just a little, you know what I'm saying, sure, you know what I mean? He was denouncing it, but he won't hard enough on it, you know what I'm saying? He need to get straight hard on it, you know what I mean? Say it straight up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stop fluffing around the junk, you know what I mean? Say it straight up. Denounce that junk, you know what I mean?
Recent endorsement from David Duke.
I didn't even know he endorsed me. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow. Okay?
At least we know Joe Biden would never, you know what I'm saying? Joe Biden would never say nothing racist. Like, at least we know that. You know what I mean? Joe Biden would never, because he's not the racist. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden would never.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Joe says shit that even people with Tourette's go, no. No.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I disavowed David Duke, and I disavowed him the day before at a major news conference, which is surprising because he was at the major news conference. CNN was at the major news conference, and they heard me very easily disavow David Duke.
Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
What the fuck? Okay, so why the hell they telling us that Trump is the racist and Biden is the fucking hero? Why are they doing that? I know what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm about to go look up videos and put them together. I'm gonna see if I can pull up some videos of Donald Trump denouncing racism and see if I can pull up videos on Biden being a racist. White people have been able to come into black communities. They've been able to destroy black businesses and burn black businesses to the ground. And keep in mind, like I'm not capping to you at all. These are all things you can look up. All things you can look up. Black women and men who have invested all of their money, all of their savings into starting a business have had their businesses burned to the ground by white people. I'm not talking about white supremacists. I'm talking about this organization called Antifa, okay? This organization called Antifa comes into black communities, burns down the black businesses, even been black people died from it, even been black people that didn't died, you feel what I'm saying? They even tore down a statue of Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass is the black man the one who got Abraham Lincoln to even free slaves. Why the hell would you tear down that statue? They did it for a reason, because they are the racists, okay? They are the racists. But what they do is they come into black communities and they scream, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And we don't pay no attention to them destroying our community. We think because we hear them say Black Lives Matter that they on our side and that what they doing must be for good. I remember I was watching a live video from somebody in Hampton, and it was showing the store out Peninsula Town Center. It was showing all the riot that took place out Peninsula Town Center not too long ago. I was watching that joint, and I was watching that joint closely, right? And I noticed something. There's a white dude that threw the brick through the store Nexus. Nexus is black owned. It was a white dude that threw a brick through the store Nexus, and then, okay, black people went in and got clothes and stuff. You feel what I'm saying? But out of all of the stores out there, think about it. Out of all of the stores out there, we're going to go out there and go to the black business and destroy that one and scream Black Lives Matter and destroy the black business. Think about
Right
it.
after that, I also disavowed David Duke. When we looked at it and looked at the question, I disavowed David Duke. So I've disavowed David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter, and obviously it's never enough.
David Duke.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions.
Okay, so what's really going on here is that Democrats don't like to talk about policy. You feel what I'm saying? They don't like to talk about their policies. They don't like to roll out their plans. They don't like to talk about their policies. So that's why they like to call somebody a racist and make everybody focus on that. You feel what I mean? Because one white Democrat, he told me, like a white Democrat told me, he was like, bruh, angry black people vote for Democrats. Because what they've been able to do every 4 years, and it happens every 4 years. Like you can go back and look and go back and look. Every 4 years, they make the elections about race and not about policy. Why? Because their policies are bullshit. Okay? Their policies suck. Their policies destroy communities. And they don't like to talk about policies. So what they do is use their friends in the media to push race and to push a racial agenda, and that way they don't gotta talk about their policies. I mean, it's brilliant if you ask me. I mean, it's smart. You feel what I'm saying? Because if I could find a way to get everybody to look that way when I walk into the bank, maybe they won't see me walking out with the bags. You feel what I'm saying? But that's just my way of thinking. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, we got to understand what's really going on in the world today. And what's going on in the world today is that they've made Donald Trump whole campaign have to be defending itself against race. You feel what I'm saying? He can't even talk about his policies. He can't even talk about what he's done. That's why when he say things like, I've done more for the African-American community than any president before me besides Abraham Lincoln, everybody's like, well, what has he done? What has he done? What has he done? They scream it because they don't know. And the reason they don't know is because Donald Trump has been forced to just continuously talk about race. You feel what I'm saying? They won't let policy even become a discussion. When if you black and you live in a poor community, the thing that we need to be worried about is policy. How will your policies affect our communities? That needs to be the forefront thing, not race. You feel what I mean? We don't have KKK members in downtown Newport News. You feel what I'm saying? Coming down here doing stuff to people and burning crosses in our neighborhood. But that's what Democrats want to make the world look like. They want to make the world and they want to make us think that we have this big race thing that we need to be fighting right now to keep us from focusing on what we really need. What we really need is employment. We need jobs. We need, businesses in our neighborhoods. We need, to lessen this wealth gap. You feel what I'm saying? We need things like that. And we need to talk about those type of things. But if they continuously make us vote solely based on race, then nobody has to talk about policy. Nobody has to talk about policy. I don't feel like Democratic policies measure up to Republican policies when it comes to the black community. Think about it. And when I say think about it, I mean think about it without saying anything about race. I'll wait. Some people say, when I be like, okay, tell me what makes Trump a racist? You know what I mean? People always like to argue that with me and shit. Like, David, how can you support Trump? How can you support support Trump and Trump is a racist? I always be like, yo, hold up. Wait. Where my thing at? I be like, yo, hold up. Tell me how Trump is a racist. They start yelling out a whole bunch of stuff. They be like, he said, build a wall. Trump said, build a wall. Ain't that what they say? They say, Trump said, build a wall. That is so racist. So racist. We got to vote for Biden because Trump said, build a wall. And that's so racist of him to say. And I'll be like, yo, do you know who was the first person to ever say, build a wall?
And because of a corrupt system
that exist in Mexico. I voted for a fence. I voted unlike most Democrats, and some of you won't like it. I voted for 700-mile fence. And you will not like this. And punish American employers who knowingly violate the law when, in fact, they hire illegals. But they're the facts. People are driving across that border with tons, hear me, tons of everything from byproducts from methamphetamine to cocaine to heroin. It's all coming up through corrupt Mexico.
In the good old days, law enforcement acted a lot quicker than this.
He put out this tweet saying, as I stated at the press conference on Friday regarding David Duke, I disavow.
I won't say fairly. I have a very strong view relating to the matter to which you spoke last, and that is the hiring of undocumented workers. What did take place was a violation of the United States immigration law. The committee and the public, as we've discussed, has to be assured that you are, without exception, going to be willing to enforce the law. In the immigration law, when did you first hire the unauthorized workers?
Maybe it's time that we started to realize that Democrats will call anybody a racist, and the news media is on the side with the Democrats, and they will call anybody a racist to avoid talking about policy.
Reject KKK and David Duke. Nobody picks it up. You know why they don't? Because they don't want to pick it up. Now, I have been asked this question so many times. I have rejected it so many times.
White supremacists are saying, do you want those votes?
No, I don't want them, and I don't want him to say it. I don't like any group of hate.
Fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists. In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus. On March 25, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race.
And it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me. Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No. To coddle the reputations of segregationists, of people who, if they had their way, I would literally not be standing here as a member of the United States Senate, is, I think, it's misinformed and it's wrong.
Should he apologize for that?
He's going to have to make that decision. But, you know, let's be very clear that the senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them. So this is a very serious matter.
Hate groups are not for me. But I've said this before. The press hates me to say it. They just don't want to pick it up. We are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
Joe is like your uncle who's on a new drug and hasn't got the dosage right.
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you... and evil. About the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence, it has no place in America.
So the question facing Biden is how he reconciles nearly a half century in public life with today's Democratic Party. Of course, Jake, one of his biggest pieces of experience is that experience and long record. That also is one of his biggest challenges.
Even call centers, which rushed overseas in the hundreds of thousands. How many times you get the call? I'd like to talk to you about your...
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
I thought you said Joe. Oh, I know. You did not just take it there. Who in the hell do you think you are? Joe, who in the world do you think you are? Have you lost your everlasting mind? You racist piece of... See, Joe, you about to make me come out of my character right now. You are about to make me show a side that I have never showed anybody. I'm sick of you disrespecting the black community. You are racist.
Democratic policy has destroyed the black community, okay? And I'm saying that not because I'm a Republican or a Trump supporter. I've been saying this for years and years and years and years. The things that destroyed our communities and made them the way that they are were all policies, and they were all done by design, okay? Some of them our black leaders actually voted for, thinking that it would help us, but it turned out to not help us, okay? And in doing that, our communities got destroyed. Our school system got destroyed. And that's why there's such a disadvantage when you start thinking about black versus white. The policies that we have allowed to control our communities for so long, 50 plus years, are the things that destroyed our communities. I'm from Newport News. Ask any older person about Newport News 50-something years ago. The way Newport News used to look 50-something years ago is not even how it looks right now. I'm talking businesses, black-owned businesses that lined Jefferson Avenue from downtown all the way up. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about a flourishing black downtown Newport News that was owned by black people. We all ride down, you know what I'm saying? We all ride down and we go past the Newsom house. Do you know who Joseph Newsom was? Do you know who he was? He was a black Republican. He was a black Republican. A lot of us live out Ridley Circle. Do any one of y'all know that Ridley Circle is named after a black man named John D. Ridley, who was a black Republican? Do anyone know this? These apartments downtown and a lot of these street names and things like that downtown, they all come from black people. And those black people that founded downtown Newport News and flourished in downtown Newport News, they were black Republicans. Know your history and learn your history, because that's what they were when they were flourishing. They had that waterfront property down there, and it was so beautiful. And these white Democrats from up was trying so hard to take their waterfront property from them, take their land from them, take their properties from them. You feel what I'm saying? So that they can get control of this waterfront property from these black people that were downtown flourishing. They were flourishing because of the Newport News shipyard, okay? They were taking their money that they made at the shipyard and they were putting it back into their community. They were putting it back into their community. They was working at the shipyard And they even had an all-black bank. Did you know that was one of the first black banks in America was started in downtown Newport News on Jefferson Avenue, and it was called Crown Bank? Do you know that? Did you know that? It was started by a black Republican, because we know that economic independence is the way to freedom, okay? Economic independence is the way to freedom. And I say all of that to say this. 50 years ago, Newport News was a black flourishing place. And white Democrats was trying to figure out ways to get control of that land and get control of our property and get control of our communities. And the best way that they can do it was to bring in other Democrats or convert some of the black Democrats, make them wealthy, make them rich, and then make them sell out the community. Because all of the black Republicans were gone. All of them had died off. And they wasn't able to really teach their children the right way. They wasn't able to give that education to their children. So these white Democrats have succeeded and are succeeding in taking the community that our grandparents from Newport News fought so hard to build for us. And they want to hide that history from us. You feel what I'm saying? This is bigger than Donald Trump. It's bigger than Joe Biden. I'm talking about our communities. Our communities. Our community right now is being ran by Democrats. Our mayor, all the way down to our city council, is run by black Democrats, not Republicans. It's run by black Democrats, okay? Our streets aren't clean. Our babies are still killing each other. Our schools are messed up. And it's only one way to fix these things, man. Get back to who our great-grandparents wanted us to be and stop letting the media control and lie and separate us from who we are. Because they try to trick us into running away from racism. They try to make it seem like we're running away from racism and that we're running towards something that's going to help us. And what we're really running towards, trying to run away from that racism, is worse racism. That covert racism. That covert racism that's them making us believe that they're our friends and that they care about us, and then in turn stab us in the back and destroy our communities. That's why I'm a black Republican. Stop going for race. Start listening to policy. And I promise you, we'll get better. That's the word from the conservative thug. Y'all have a good day.